In the interior of Sulawesi, there is a mountain that does not appear on maps, but appears in the dreams of thousands of people. That mountain not only holds stones, but the head of a king who cannot be buried, and tonight, you might be the one called. The Forbidden Head, the mountain that guards a king's soul. Have you ever heard of a mountain that is not on the map, but is known in the dreams of many people? The mountain is called Daeng Batu, located deep in the interior of South Sulawesi. There are no signs, no paths to the summit, but since ancient times, many have been called to it. Residents believe that the mountain is where the king's head was buried in a supernatural way. Every night when the moon is dark, strange sounds are heard from behind the cliff. There was a whisper of wind, as if the stone was breathing. A climber claimed to have seen a blue light floating from the top of the mountain. He followed the light, and then disappeared. He has never been found. But the people said, he's not missing, he was called to serve. At the top of the mountain, there's a rock that resembles a human face. It has a crack on its forehead. The crack leads inwards, like a storage area for heads. Legend has it that the head of the last Bugis king was kept there by a supernatural guardian. Who is the guardian? They call it Daeng Batu, a living stone creature as tall as a coconut tree. Not everyone can see it, but if you stare at the night too long, it stares back. And from then on, you will never see the world the same again. This story comes from a secret Lontara manuscript that is only read on Friday Kliwon nights. The last king mentioned in the text was beheaded magically, by a heavenly power. His head was not buried, but kept to maintain the balance of Bugis land. Why? Because the king has a blood pact with a creature of the southern seas. If his head is burned or buried, the sea will rise to swallow all of Sulawesi. So a sacred stone was made, in the shape of his face, and locked at the top of the mountain. Only Daeng mantra holders know how to activate the barrier. But since the colonial war, the inheritors of the spell have disappeared one by one. And the mountain began to wake up. People who dream about stone faces will usually wake up with blood in their ears. Or seeing ancient Bugis symbols burned on the walls of his house. That's a sign. The king's head is calling. In ancient Bugis culture, the head is the seat of the supreme soul. If disturbed, chaos ensues. The villagers always put offerings under the stone, flowers, plantains, and the blood of a black chicken. But in recent years, that chicken is no longer enough. In 1998, a team of archaeologists from Jakarta tried to research the stone formations on Mount Daeng Batu. They bring drones, GPS, and 3D mapping. The first day, they all felt dizzy and nauseous as they approached the cliff. The second day, the voice recorder caught the sound of a mantra in an unknown language. The third day, all the cameras were broken, and the team decided to go down. But one of them, Prof. Atten, kept a small stone from the top of the peak. After returning to Jakarta, he became seriously ill and began speaking in the ancient Bugis language. He wrote in blood, "Return me to Daeng. I do not belong to this world." A month later, he died, and strangely, his body slowly petrified. This finding was never published. The archives are locked by Lipi to this day. But there was one document that was leaked onto the dark web. It is said that the stones from Mount Daeng have an abnormal electromagnetic field. When scanned, an image of a face appeared that looked like a crying human mask. Is that the face of the king kept in stone, or Daeng Batu's angry face? In 2023, a small earthquake occurred just beneath the mountain. However, it was only felt by animals. Dogs howl all night. The birds fly before dawn. The residents said, "That wasn't an earthquake. That was Daeng's first breath." After that, 3 teenagers disappeared while climbing without permission. Only one returned, but he was blind and his hair had turned white. He painted stone faces all over the walls of his house and wrote, "I see the king's head." The village elders decided to perform a mountain closing ritual, but the sound from the ground continues to be heard every Friday Legi night. There was a sound like a rock being pulled and a strangled scream. Mount Daeng Batu is not just a rock. It is the body of an ancient creature, according to legend. And when the king's head is no longer guarded, he will rise taking the whole mountain with him. The mountain is both a tomb and a body. At the top, there is not just a rock, but a gate to the underworld. Whoever crosses that line will never return in the same form, because his body may return, but his soul is replaced by the old guard. In the VOC archives, there is an ancient map marked with an X at the location of Mount Daeng Batu. They call it the Forbidden Sentinel Hill. The map shows an underground passage leading to a stone well with a triangular lid. It was there that the king's head was kept, protected by 7 mantras. But the spell is now weak, because the heir died long ago. Some spiritual researchers believe the head is still intact, guarded by an eternal blue flame. But if someone touches it, he will see the whole hidden history, the whole secret of the blood pact, the betrayal, and the blood curse. But not everyone is ready to accept that truth. Many have tried and lost their minds forever. If you dream about a face-shaped stone, because not everyone can choose, some are destined to be part of the guard. And tonight, Daeng Batu might be looking at you. Listen carefully to the sound from the north, because maybe that head finally opened its eyes. If you suddenly dream about mountains, fog, and the sound of rocks, don't ignore it. Because Daeng Batu doesn't summon everyone, only those who are bleeding. Your face may resemble the first guardian, or the last king. That mountain holds something more than just history. He is a door to a place that must not be opened. And that head is the key. For a long time, the guards guarded not to protect us from the rocks, but to keep something from coming out. And when that boundary is broken, the world will see a face it never wanted to see. A face that was once respected, then betrayed. Now, he waits for his time, and that time might be tonight. If you feel called, don't go up alone. Because what is waiting for you is not a human. And if you see the stone smiling, then you are too late. If this video reaches 100,000 likes, we'll continue with the deeper story. The secret of Daeng Lot Stone, the lost guardian of the Sea King. Subscribe now, before the voice from the ground calls you too.